So the Golden State Warriors, man, their season has just been a constant battle, right? And just when it looked like they were finally getting things together, one single play in Dallas might have just unraveled everything. We're going to break down how a moment of really bad luck has turned into a full-blown crisis for them. And that really brings us to the big question here, right? How does a team even handle this, going from bad to way, way worse, right in the middle of a playoff push? Look, we're not just talking about one injury. This is like a cascade of problems, and it's all happening at the absolute worst possible time. It's the kind of thing that really tests what a championship organization is made of. Okay, so let's set the scene. It all started during a road game against the Dallas Mavericks. You know the type of game, a really tough, crucial matchup for the playoff race in the West. And like it so often does in sports, an entire season can just pivot on one moment that looks pretty ordinary at first. So here's what happened. It's the second quarter, and Jonathan Kuminga drives to the basket. He takes this really awkward step, draws the foul, and you can tell right away something's not right. But what he does next, man, that's just pure toughness. Instead of going down, he stays in the game, calmly sinks both free throws, and then he finally exits and heads to the locker room. Just incredible. And then comes the diagnosis, well, sort of. It's injuries to his left ankle and his knee, with an MRI pending. So the team is just left hanging, right? They're in total limbo. That word pending just casts this huge cloud of uncertainty over the whole team while they're all waiting for those MRI results. But here's the thing. What makes this injury so absolutely devastating is the timing. This wasn't just any player getting hurt in any old game. To really get why this is such a big deal, you have to look at what happened literally one game earlier. 20. Just 20. That's the number of points Kuminga dropped in his very first game back after being out for a whole month. I mean, he was electric. He was this huge burst of energy that the team desperately, desperately needed. He looked like he was the answer. And this is where you just see the cruel twist of fate. I mean, the whiplash here is brutal. One game ago, he's the big comeback story, right? He's back from a month-long absence, scores 20 points in 21 minutes, and looks like a key piece of their offense. And now, he's injured again, his status is totally up in the air, and he's back on the sidelines. The team is right back to square one. Except, it's actually worse now. So you have to ask, why was his return so critical in the first place? Well, it's because his return was a direct response to another crisis. He wasn't just some nice bonus piece to have back. No, he was supposed to be the solution to another huge blow the team had just taken. This is where a bad situation really starts to spiral. What the Warriors are facing here is something called compounding setbacks. It's basically when one major problem is immediately followed by another one, which just makes the whole challenge drastically bigger. Think of it like a domino effect, where each falling piece makes the next problem that much harder to solve. And here's that first domino I was talking about. Right before Kuminga was scheduled to come back, the team lost veteran Jimmy Butler III for the entire season. A season-ending injury. Just, bam, done for the year. So let's trace the domino effect here, because it's just brutal. First, Jimmy Butler III goes down with that season-ending ACL tear. That leaves a massive hole. So Jonathan Kuminga returns to help fill that void. But then, in only his second game back, he gets injured. So now the Warriors are down two key forwards. The patch they literally just used to fix the first hole has ripped wide open. So with their season pretty much on the brink, where do you look? All eyes turn to the leadership, right? To the coaching staff. How in the world do you keep a team focused and motivated when it feels like everything that could go wrong is going wrong? Well, for them, the answer comes from their head coach, Steve Kerr. He said, adversity is part of this league. The challenge is how you respond to it. And look, that's not just some empty cliche. That's the actual mindset they have to live by if they want to survive this. It's him saying, yeah, this is bad, but it's also a direct challenge to every single player left in that locker room. Okay, so what does their situation look like right now on the ground? Well, they're still on the hunt. They're holding on to that 8th seed in the West, which puts them in a play-in spot. But, and this is a big but, they're in the middle of a really tough 4-game road trip. Their mentality has to be resilient, focused on their depth, but that depth is about to be tested like it never has been before. And that really gets us to the heart of the problem here. The team, they believe they're still good enough to win. You hear it from them. But the reality is they're now in a truly precarious position. They are undermanned, they're on the road, and any margin for error they might have had, it's just gone.
So it all comes down to this one big question, doesn't it? Will this adversity make or break the Warriors' season? Sometimes moments like this can forge a team's identity, fuel some incredible, improbable run. But other times, it's just the breaking point. It's what finally exposes all the flaws. For these Warriors, we are all about to find out which one it's going to be.